Welcome to the course summary. Chapter 1, License Law and Regulations, Part 2, 6th edition, pages 9 to 41, 7th edition, pages 1 to 33. License Renewal Requirements.
Salespersons and brokers must renew their licenses every 2 years.
License and Photo ID Card.
When licensure is approved, DOS issues a license and photo ID card. The broker license must be clearly visible in the principal place of business and at all branch offices at all times. A broker may not display an expired license. Salesperson licenses need not be displayed, but they must be kept by the broker in a safe and accessible place.
Changes in name, status, and location.
Licensees requesting a personal change of name must complete a DOS change notice to be mailed back to the DOS. The fee is $10, except for changes because of marital status. If the broker moves a principal or branch office to a different address, the broker must complete the online transaction notifying the New York State Department of State within 5 days.
Branch Office Requirements.
Many brokerage firms have one or more branch offices, in addition to their main office. A branch office may be supervised by an associate broker as office manager, but salespersons cannot manage a branch office.
Change of association or termination of association.
The DOS requires the termination of a salesperson or associate broker be performed by the principal broker first, before it permits a change of association by a new brokerage firm.
Dual licensure, broker and salesperson.
Licensees may hold more than one license at a time, but a separate application and fee must be submitted to DOS for each license. They must be sponsored by the broker at the time of application and when they receive their license.
Licensure of non-resident brokers and salespersons.
Under reciprocity regulations, non-resident licensees who want New York licensure and who live in states that do not require New York salesperson and brokers to have an office in their state or pass their exam do not have to do so in New York. Currently, New York State does not have reciprocal agreements with any state. Check the DOS website for updates. Is there reciprocity with other states? The Department of State does not currently have reciprocity with any other state. If you completed education outside of New York, please submit written waiver request. A non-resident applying for New York State real estate licensure must maintain a current license certificate from the real estate authority where they obtained their license, and submit a signed uniform, irrevocable consent, and designation form. This form allows New York courts to serve a summons or other legal documents on those who commit crimes in New York and be prosecuted directly without going through the extradition process.
Other licensing or registrations relating to real estate, licensed through the New York Department of State.
An apartment information vendor is an individual who, for a fee, is in the business of furnishing information concerning the location and availability of residential real property, including apartment housing. An apartment sharing agent is an individual who, for a fee, arranges and coordinates meetings between the current owners of real property, including apartment housing, who wish to share their housing with others. Example: Airbnb.
Other real estate license or registrations.
An appraiser estimates the value of real property. A home inspector observes and provides a written report of the systems and components of a residential building for compensation. All of these disciplines are licensed by the New York State Department of State Division of Licensing Services.
Business sign.
Brokers must post a business sign that is clearly visible at their place of business that is easily readable from the sidewalk. The sign must include the name and business address and indicate the words "Licensed Real Estate Broker."
Kickbacks.
A kickback can occur when a broker pays an unlicensed person for obtaining a listing.
Advertising rules.
Ads published by an associate broker, a salesperson, or a team must be listed with and approved by the broker. The ad must indicate that the advertiser is a real estate broker, or provide the broker or brokerage firm's name. Either the full address or phone number of the broker or brokerage firm must be included. An ad that does not contain this information is known as a blind ad.
Most common violations of real estate license law.
Making false statements on the application for a license, committing fraud, or engaging in fraudulent practices, which are acts meant to deceive or misrepresent, resulting in giving one person an advantage over another. Demonstrating untrustworthiness or incompetency to act as real estate broker or salesperson. Intentionally making any substantial and willful misrepresentations. Failing to provide adequate disclosures. Licensees must make their position clear regarding the party for whom they are acting in a residential real estate transaction, seller, buyer, or both. Offering a property for sale or lease without the permission of the owner. Negotiating the sale or lease of any property with an owner or a lessor when the licensee knows that the owner or lessor has an existing exclusive written contract with another broker. Placing a sign on a property without the consent of the owner. A broker may not compensate another broker's salesperson without the knowledge of that salesperson's broker. Retaining listing information on termination of association. If licensees terminate their association with a real estate broker, they must turn over all listing information obtained during their association with the terminating broker. Brokers must maintain a separate trust or escrow account of other people's money in a federally insured bank account. Being a party to an exclusive listing contract that contains an automatic continuation of the listing beyond the specified termination date. Performing any service that an attorney performs. In all legal matters affecting buyers and sellers, the licensee should recommend a competent attorney. Discriminating in the sale, rental, or advertisement of housing or commercial space covered by law.
Net listings.
Entering into a net listing contract. A net listing occurs when a seller authorizes a broker to obtain a specified amount for the property and then allows the broker to keep as a commission any money above this specified amount obtained from the sale. Net listings are illegal in New York State, failing to maintain records. In the sale or mortgage of 1 to 4 unit properties, brokers must maintain records of transactions for 3 years. Commingling, mixing the funds of others with business or personal funds. Commingling funds is a big no-no.
Liabilities and penalties for violations of license law.
Unlawful acts by licensees falls under the DOS jurisdiction and are a violation of Article 12A. Violators may be guilty of a misdemeanor. Under the penal law in New York, a misdemeanor is punishable by a fine of up to $1,000 and/or imprisonment for up to 1 year. The revocation or suspension of a broker's license suspends the licenses of the salespersons and associate brokers affiliated with the broker. The suspension is lifted when the salesperson or associate broker affiliates with another broker or when the suspension period ends.
DOS, hearings and appeals.
If the licensee is found guilty of the complaint after a hearing decision, the DOS or licensee may appeal to the New York State Secretary of State. The appeal must be made within 30 days of the time of the decision.
Unlicensed assistants.
Many real estate businesses employ unlicensed employees and personal assistants. The assistants may legally perform office duties not requiring a real estate license. Unlicensed assistants should not show property for sale or rent or discuss the real estate with clients or customers.
Property condition disclosure.
Real estate licensees must inform their client sellers of their obligation to provide a signed statement disclosing information regarding the condition and status of their residential 1 to 4 unit property.
Uncapped gas wells disclosure.
A natural gas well is a type of well that is dug or drilled that yields or has yielded natural gas. The seller must disclose to the buyer the existence of any known uncapped natural gas wells on the property. Disclosure is made before the buyer and seller enter into a contract of sale. If the property has no well cap, this fact must be disclosed to the buyer.
Stigmatized property disclosure.
Article 443 of the New York Real Property Law addresses stigmatized property disclosure. Under this law, sellers and sellers' agents do not have to disclose stigmas and may or may not disclose even upon written request of the buyer or buyer agent.
This concludes Part 2 of License Law and Regulation Summary. To test your knowledge of what you've learned in this summary, please wait a few seconds. A brief quiz will follow.